we are happy to be back. A lot is going on today, and we have got your timeline coming straight from Biden on when we can see some stimulus being passed. But we also have the Democrats pushing to overhaul the tax system and raise taxes on corporations, which would raise enough money for, yes, 2 stimulus checks. But there's more to that story, which we'll get to in just a moment. Biden is starting to bring down the pressure on moderate Democrats to stand with all the other Democrats and get the $3.5 trillion stimulus package passed ASAP. We even have Bernie Sanders, who is pushing on Joe Manchin to jump on board and get this huge $1 trillion package passed as well. We have Senator Chuck Schumer, who is calling for Congress to pass the infrastructure package as well because of global warming and climate change. And we got a big fight when it comes to the debt ceiling with Nancy Pelosi and the rest of the Congress. But they do say that we do have several options to make sure that the U.S. can pay its bills. And lastly, if you're on Social Security, we're about to have a first for those on Social Security coming in 2022. We're looking at a $1,160 increase for all Social Security recipients. This is your stimulus and economic news update, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. Number 1, click the like button down below for this video. Subscribe or be subscribed to the channel. And number 3, comment on this video on a topic that we talk about. But I really appreciate everyone's support, but let's get right into it. So we are on the verge of passing one of the largest stimulus packages in the United States history, the $3.5 trillion package, and yes, they have the votes to pass it. So the Democrats have the majority in the House and the Senate and the White House, and they are pushing like nobody's business to get this done, but everyone's more concerned about getting another stimulus check. And with the tax overhaul that the Democrats are pushing for now, which would equate to about an additional $800 billion in tax revenue, well, the last $1,400 stimulus checks cost around $400 billion. So now everyone's running around saying, hey, 2 more stimulus checks are coming. And I want to set the record straight here. No one in Congress has mentioned anything about 2 new additional $1,400 stimulus checks. They have, however, mentioned about 1 additional stimulus check. Just because they have the new funds doesn't mean that they're automatically going to apply it to another round of stimulus checks. The last that we have heard coming from our House and Senate representatives was that they would like to see a $1,200 stimulus check for the adults and a $600 stimulus check for the kids. But I do want to say, please, if we do get another stimulus check, if you can, and I know everyone can't, but please invest, grow your money. Let it help you move forward into financial freedom. Talk to a CPA or an accountant. Have them advise you based upon your financial situation what to do that's best for you so that you can get ahead with those extra funds. But the reason that they're trying to get more money from raising taxes on corporations from the 21% where it's at now to the 28% is because they're trying to pay for this $3.5 trillion package. Now, we are still waiting on that final text of that bill, but we are at $28.5 trillion in debt as a nation. And the job of Congress is not to put us in more debt. But I am glad that they are working to pay for this additional new legislation that they are wanting to pass. That's actually coming from Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker of the House. Now, there's still a chance to see another stimulus check, but they have to get this new $3.5 trillion package passed before we can even see something sent our way. There's more fights in the Democratic Party than with the Democrats and the Republicans, which is a first. But Joe Manchin has came out and said we need to put a pause on the huge stimulus package. But a White House advisor says that Manchin is open to persuasion. Ron Klain, the White House advisor, said, "We've worked with Senator Manchin every step of the way. we're going to work together to find a way to put together a package that can pass the House, that can pass the Senate, that can be put on the president's desk and signed into law. Because they need his vote and all the other Democrats' votes in the Senate in order to pass through this reconciliation process. Now, right now, no Republican is putting their stamp on getting it passed. They are totally against it, but this is where the Democrats have to pull together in order to get this passed. Now, Biden is giving us a timeline of when he wants to see these huge stimulus bills passed, and that's why he is doubling down on Joe Manchin. President Biden said that the government should have two focuses in September to pass his two major spending plans. He also said the second thing that has to happen in September is for the Congress, the House and the Senate to finish passing my economic agenda so that we can keep up the historic momentum we've been building. So Biden is totally on board with getting these passed in September. So this brings us into our timeline. We have said before that in the third week of September, we can see all this come to pass in the House and the Senate for these huge reconciliation packages, as well as the infrastructure packages. This is where Bernie Sanders, who is probably the biggest proponent next to Biden, coming out and saying, Democrats can't afford to slow down progress on the $3.5 trillion budget reconciliation package after Senator Joe Manchin said the party should hit the pause button. And right now, if the Democrats want to do something, they have to do it now. Why? Because midterms are coming up next year, and even Bernie knows something's probably going to change within Congress. Within a little while, everything is going to become political. The only way you can get things done historically in Congress is in the first year of a session where you can escape a little bit from the partisan politics, is what Bernie said. So historically, usually within the midterms, whoever has control of the House, of the Senate, and the White House, usually they will lose one of those when it comes to midterms, whether you're Republican or Democratic. But basically, the Republicans will get control of either the Senate or the House next year, and it won't be fully Democratic-controlled Congress, and they won't be able to pass any legislation on the Democratic agenda like a reconciliation bill. Everyone knows it, and even Chuck Schumer has said, we need to pass this now and fast. Schumer is calling for action on the reconciliation package because it has billions of dollars to combat climate change, and after what we have seen with Hurricane Ida, he is using that to put everyone into action and to get the huge stimulus packages passed ASAP. But there is still a lot of concern over a lot of other things. For instance, the debt ceiling. Pelosi and Schumer have both come out and said that the Republicans are not right for not raising the debt ceiling. Pelosi said, we'd like to do it in a bipartisan way. We don't ever want to put the full faith and credit of the United States in doubt. Everyone is pushing to raise the debt ceiling, but we are $28.5 trillion in debt. And I would like to know what you think about this in the comments section and what we should do. Because I personally don't like debt. And if we keep raising our debt limit, I feel that we may have a spending problem. There's a root issue here that we're not addressing. 99% of us have to be accountable for our spending. And even if you have credit cards, you can only raise your limit so much. So I feel that we need to address the root issue, make sure that our grandkids aren't swarming in debt, because something that we aren't addressing today. The money is obviously going somewhere. So let me know what you think about this, and we can talk about it in the comments section. So now onto some increases for our friends on Social Security. So right now, a huge cost of living adjustment is heading towards those on Social Security that would give them an additional $1,160 in 2022 and so forth. This would be one of the highest cost of living adjustments ever in the history of the program. And this would be great if everything else wasn't getting so expensive. Gas prices are up, milk is up, used cars are up, a lot of household goods are up, in costs. There are 65 million Social Security beneficiaries, and so this will definitely help them, but with all the inflation that we are feeling, they're not going to be able to feel it as much, and it's across the board. There are some huge reforms that would come if the $3.5 trillion stimulus package was passed for those on Social Security. But there's still a lot that needs to be done for those in need, because we're dealing with a lot of laws that are outdated that haven't been changed since the 1980s. So with this, we're looking for more reform for that program. But whatever we can do to help out our seniors, I'm game for it. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. There's a lot that's going on with Congress, with dealing with Afghanistan, with dealing with the debt ceiling, with trying to get these bills passed. But we have to make sure that we're taking care of our own, that we're making sure that Americans are put first, and we're doing what we can to take care of our seniors and our kids and our families. But please, don't forget to subscribe, like this video, and hit that notification bell to stay up to date on all stimulus and economic news that affects you, and learn how to build some wealth and learn how to build